Listen guys, I have over 3 terabytes of irreplaceable data, 10 years of family photos, 5 years of client work, and countless personal projects that represent my entire digital life. I need a backup solution that will actually be there when disaster strikes, and I refuse to trust my most precious files to services that haven't been ruthlessly tested. Because let's face it, the anxiety of potentially losing everything is genuinely, for me at least, overwhelming. And most online backup reviews are just like surface level fluff that won't tell you exactly what really happens when your hard drive dies at 2 a.m. in the morning on a Sunday. Well, I've got good news. I've spent really years rigorously testing dozens of online backup providers, and you can find videos on YouTube of myself testing online backup services that are 12, 13 years old. Well, obviously now, I know what you're saying. I aged so well, and thank you very much. But I've discovered so many new things in this testing round, and it will surprise you. Today, I'm breaking down the top 5 online backup services that actually deserve your trust and your data. And for those of you that are short on time, and well, we all are a bit short on time these days, right? I'll tell you right now that by far my favorite backup provider is and remains iDrive. We'll get to why later on in the video, but if you want to be in and out as quickly as possible, you can grab a discounted plan with a link in the description box below. Oh, and click those like and subscribe buttons while you're down there. That really helps out the channel. And also, if you sign up to iDrive with one of our links, you support the channel at no additional cost to you. But first, I'd like to make a crucial distinction, a distinction that many people really are probably not aware of, at least when I read the comments on the YouTube channel and on cloudwards.net, is that online backup isn't the same as cloud storage. In fact, I made a whole video about this distinction where you can check out every little detail about why these concepts are truly different, and you can check it out right here in the description box that I'll leave you there for your convenience. But I want you to stick to this video as well here, right? So I give you a brief rundown. Cloud storage services like Dropbox or Google Drive, well, they're designed for active file access. They're designed for collaboration. And also, Dropbox made this popular, right? For syncing files across 2, 3, 5 different computers. And now we have online backup on the other hand, which is essentially, I like to consider, as your safety net. It's about creating a secure, well, often automated copies of your data that you can restore whenever disaster strikes. And think of cloud storage essentially as your daily work briefcase, your workhorse for productivity, while online backup is essentially your home security system. Everything is surveilled, everything is going to be ready for when disaster strikes. Now, there are services that have blurred the line a little bit between the two concepts, backup and storage. You can look at pCloud, for example, and Internext. And well, spoiler alert, they both made it onto this backup list for today. And these are primarily known as cloud storage services, and we have reviewed them as such and categorized them as such. However, both have developed a dedicated backup functionality that goes beyond simple file syncing that you might be used from Dropbox or other syncing services. So, with that clarification out of the way, let's start at number 5. And we have a provider, it's called Carbonite. And, well, it's a service that's been around long enough to remember when essentially cloud backup was still a pretty novel concept. And in my mind, Carbonite represents the old guard of online backup. The design hasn't changed much. Even the website hasn't changed so much in the past 10 years. And while it has its strengths, it really, for me, it struggles to keep pace with more modern alternatives. And that's why it's only on number 5 here. But it's still a popular service, so I thought I'd throw it out there for you to check out. Carbonite's biggest selling point is simplicity. Now, the setup process is really, in my mind, foolproof. You install the software, and as you can see, it immediately begins backing up your documents, pictures, music, and other common file types. So for users who really want to set it and forget it backup without any configuration headaches, well, Carbonite delivers in that sense. And, well, there's a big selling proposition here for this service. It offers unlimited storage for a single computer, which is genuinely unlimited. I tested it with over 2 terabytes of data without hitting any caps or throttling. And the interface follows a pretty minimalistic philosophy as well. Carbonite uses Windows Explorer integration with colored dots indicating the backup status. So you have orange for pending, you have green for backed up. It's intuitive, though I experienced some, let's call it, inconsistencies where these status indicators didn't display correctly on our test system. The web interface provides a clean dashboard showing backup progress and also super useful recent activity. But it's more, let's call it, informational than functional. You'll need the desktop app for your actual backup management. But here is where Carbonite really stumbles badly. And that elephant in the room is performance. In my testing, Carbonite delivered some of the worst speeds I've ever recorded from a major backup service. Uploads took nearly 20 minutes for our 5 gigabyte test, while downloads were catastrophically slow at over an hour and 20 minutes. And even in my 1 gigabit per second test, the times barely got any better. And these aren't just disappointing numbers. They are practically unusable for anyone with substantial data to protect or to recover. And recovery is the keyword here, because eventually you will have to recover all your data. Now, the service seemed to struggle equally with all the file types, suggesting fundamental infrastructure limitations rather than optimization issues. And we got to look at security as well, which for Carbonite, it's solid, but it's not really exceptional. The service uses AES 128-bit encryption by default, which you can then up to 256-bit if you enable private key encryption. And Windows users can manage their own encryption keys, but this removes the ability to access files through the web interface or mobile apps. It's a significant trade-off, at least to me. And you can also get two-factor authentication, and the service includes ransomware protection with file restoration for infected systems. That tends to happen quite often these days. Okay, let's look at pricing. Because, we all want to watch our wallets a little bit when it comes to backup, right? So the structure is actually straightforward, but rather segmented. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the basic plan starts at $6 per month annually. They also offer a Plus and Prime plan, with the main difference being automatic video uploads. And Prime includes a career service for restoring your data from a physical device. And personally, I think it's insane for a service to lock automatic video backup behind a more expensive tier in 2025. It's so arbitrary. It makes me, as you can probably tell, genuinely annoyed, especially because I produce so many videos here for YouTube. I need my video backup and I don't want to pay extra for it, right? And while the unlimited storage makes Carbonite super appealing for a lot of users, the poor performance makes it difficult to justify when faster alternatives exist at really smaller price points. So, at number 4, we got Internext. Now, I want to be clear, Internext isn't a bad backup service. It's just that in the crowded backup landscape, being merely good isn't really enough anymore. And for regular cloud storage, it's one of my favorites, and you can see that on our rankings on cloudwords.net. I'll leave a link in the description box below. Click it, and then you'll find a good overview of all the cloud storage services, and it's ranked always pretty highly. But the fact that it's a hybrid solution means that it's not quite at the same level as dedicated backup services. Internext's standout feature is its commitment to privacy. And this Spanish company offers a lot of things by the book, right? End-to-end encryption by default, right? And they've implemented also post-quantum encryption technology designed to resist attacks from future quantum computers, which I think in 2025 is a real threat. So that's genuinely impressive, and it positions them ahead of the curve technologically. Wow, difficult word. Now, when we look at their backup functionality, it is accessible through the desktop apps preference menu. It basically allows you to add entire folders for the automatic backup process, though you can't select individual files or create full disk images. And from a usability perspective, Internext delivers a clean, intuitive interface that won't intimidate newcomers. And the desktop app integrates well with Windows and Mac systems, and the mobile app is pretty responsive and well designed. However, I did notice some finicky behavior, and this might just be my experience, but manual refreshes were sometimes needed for folder syncing, and the backup setup process, while straightforward, lacks the granular control that you might crave if you're a power user, right? So let me walk you through my testing methodology before we dive into our first speed test, right? Now, I tested each service from a Windows virtual machine in Dublin on a 1 gigabit per second connection. And I've uploaded and then downloaded 5 gigabytes of mixed data. That includes 4K video files, that includes documents, executables, zip files, images, you name it, audio files, everything, right? And first I throttled my internet connection to 100 megabits for stability testing. And then I said, okay, why not? Why the hell? Let's unleash the full gigabit connection to see what these services could really do. And here's where it's pretty interesting, right? During my performance testing, Internext did okay-ish, right? But not amazing. On the 100 megabits per second test, upload speeds averaged around 8 minutes for our 5 gigabyte test, which is respectable, but downloads took over 9 minutes. And when I removed the throttling and bumped the speed up to 1 gigabit per second, things got better, really better, but yeah, unfortunately not perfect. The service can't properly utilize much faster than 100 megabits per second, right? More concerning was the service's inconsistent performance with larger files and archives. So when I tested the zip files and 4K video content, speeds dropped below 5 megabytes per second, making it quite frustrating for users with substantial backup needs. The service seems optimized for smaller document type files rather than the mixed media libraries most users seem to need to protect. Security-wise, Internext excels. That post-quantum encryption isn't just marketing speak, it's genuine future proofing. And the service is GDPR compliant, it is open source, and here comes the kicker, it's been audited by Securitum, a respected European security firm. Two-step authentication is available, and the zero-knowledge architecture means no one, not even Internext, can access your files, and that is crucial if you want to store private documents. Okay, here is where Internext really runs away with it. Pricing. Internext offers incredibly affordable plans. Their 1 terabyte plan costs less than $2 per month on an annual plan. For an even better deal, Internext has also lifetime plans available starting at $145 for 1 terabyte. If you think you'll stick with Internext for long term, a lifetime plan is really worth considering. As usual, you know this by now, you got to make the clickety-click down to get these discounted rates through the links in the description box below. And the good thing is, my team and I, we keep those links updated with always the best discounts. So if Black Friday comes around and you're still are shopping for Internext, these links will get you the best discounts possible. So make sure to check them out. And Internext offers a combo of cloud storage and online backup, well, in one solution. It's one of the most secure and private options, and a great choice if you don't need advanced backup features. All right, we're getting to the final providers here in this list, and we want to look at number 3, which is, drumroll, pCloud, a service that's basically made its reputation in cloud storage, and that's for 12 years, by the way. It's been around for a while. It's quietly also developed some impressive backup capabilities. pCloud represents what I would call the middle ground between pure storage and dedicated backup, and it executes this hybrid approach better than most, I would say. pCloud's backup functionality integrates seamlessly with its existing cloud storage features. You can basically back up specific folders from your computer while simultaneously using the service for file sharing, collaboration, and obviously synchronization. No? The backup feature supports scheduling and can import data from other cloud services like Google Drive, OneDrive, and Dropbox. So that's kind of a multi-cloud backup solution, which is really a good idea so you don't rely on just on one provider with your backups. And what sets it apart is the ability to share files directly from your backup, treating essentially your backup content as part of your active storage ecosystem, which is also kind of a different take, if you ask me. Obviously, we need to look always at the usability of a service. So how usable is it? No? And the interface feels familiar. It feels professional if you've used any other online service before. The web interface is clean. The desktop app is super easy to use and includes a virtual drive feature. And this virtual drive provides access to your cloud files without consuming local disk space, particularly useful for backup scenarios where you want to access, essentially without your local storage, some important folder that you're leaning on or that you want to keep encrypted in a virtual drive. The learning curve is quite minimal, I would say. I mean, you got to learn how to manage a file sync, how to set it up, how to manage it, how to use the crypto folder if you want to encrypt files securely. And the service feels responsive and well engineered. Okay, we always test the performance here, as you know, and it revealed some strengths, but also some weaknesses, I would say. Upload speeds averaged around 7 minutes for our test, while downloads were slightly faster at just under 7 minutes. And these are very fast speeds, and things got even better when I cranked it up to my 1 gigabit per second, right? Then uploads finished in just slightly over 2 minutes, with downloads clocking in at an almost as fast 2.5 minutes. And that's what you might call lightning fast. I really love the performance here. However, and there's a little caveat that I want to mention, is that the performance varied significantly based on the file size and the type. So larger files were showing really noticeable slowdowns. And we also look at CPU usage, which is important because you don't want to bog down your system with cloud backup if you don't have to. It remained reasonable during testing, but the inconsistent speed suggested optimization could be improved essentially for the backup-specific workflows of the app. Okay, now, pCloud's security approach is quite interesting, I would say. Standard accounts use server-side encryption with TLS SSL for data in transit. However, true client-side encryption requires, as I mentioned before, pCloud Encryption, a paid add-on that creates an encrypted folder within your storage. Now, only business accounts include pCloud Encryption automatically. Well, which if you're a business, it's fine, but for personal users, it feels a little bit of a limitation for privacy-conscious users. And, well, but if you do get the two-factor authentication and you choose the right data center, which for European users will be in the EU and for US users will be in the US, obviously. You can also, as a US user, choose the EU as a region, but obviously your files will be a bit further away, which might limit your speeds just a little bit. So all in all, it gives you a solid privacy package, I would say. I recommend the latter, so your data is protected under GDPR, which is quite strong here in the EU. Okay, pricing. And here is where it gets really, really interesting, right? It's pCloud's secret weapon, if you will. The service offers compelling lifetime plans, starting from $199 for 500 gigabytes. Then there is $399 for 2 terabytes, or $1,190 for 10 terabytes. Now, pCloud has promotions running a lot of the time, so our links in the description box always give you the best deals available for our CloudWords readers and viewers, so make sure to check that out. And as I said before, thank you very much for supporting the channel through clicking to one of our links. For users planning to use a cloud storage service long-term. These lifetime plans represent exceptional value. Also, pCloud was one of the first services to really get into the lifetime cloud storage plan and have been so for over 12 years. So they're not going anywhere. And yes, while lifetime plans are called lifetime, your lifetime, obviously it's just the lifetime of the company, but they have a solid track record, so I feel my files are pretty safe with them, at least for now. If that changes, I'll make another video and then suggest the alternatives that you might find valuable. So we got the annual plans as well. If you're not interested in lifetime plans, annual plans are $49.99 for 500 gigabytes and $99.99 for 2 terabytes, or the Ultra 10 terabyte for $199. And these prices are competitive in the market and offer excellent value for an overall excellent service. And well, pCloud is a great option for most users, with the main drawback being an additional cost for the client-side encrypted folder that I mentioned before, and you are limited to that single folder to move all your files into it. Now, the number 2 position goes to Backblaze, a service that's built its entire reputation around one simple promise. Very simple promise. Unlimited backup for a very low price. Now, they started with $5 per month. They issued a promise. They will never increase the price of $5 a month. Backblaze, I'm looking at you. You said you will never increase the prices. And then year after year after year after year, the prices increased. And now we're sitting at a pretty higher value of pricing, which I'll get to in a minute. But I just wanted to call them out on that. Now, after extensive testing, I can confirm that Backblaze largely delivers on this promise, though with some important caveats that you need to be aware of. Backblaze's feature set is intentionally minimal, and I think that's actually a strength. The service backs up everything on your computer automatically. There's no file selection, no complex scheduling options, no overwhelming configuration screens. You install it, and it just works. It backs everything up, right? File versioning, which we got to talk about, right? Among the few features, well, keeps deleted files for 30 days by default, with options to extend it to 1 year for free or forever for $0.006 per gigabyte monthly. The service includes a career recovery option where Backblaze will ship you a physical hard drive with your data for faster restoration. From a usability standpoint, Backblaze, for me at least, epitomizes the, okay, just let me press the easy button. Don't make me think. I don't want to think about my backups approach, right? And this is what I would recommend my grandma, right? I can install it. I never have to worry about it again because I don't have to do system admin with this backup tool. And she has all her photos backup, basically, which is all she cares about. The desktop app has minimal options. Minimal. You can exclude specific folders or file types, but otherwise, yeah, it's pretty hands-off. And this simplicity is both a blessing and a curse, because if you're not my grandma, which I don't believe you are, but who knows? Leave a comment below. Beginners will love it, right? But power users like myself, or like yourself maybe, you will feel just a tiny bit constrained by the lack of granular control. But I know that many of you guys are maybe sysadmins of your father's computer or your grandma's computer, so you will actually enjoy the simplicity, believe me. Now, Backblaze doesn't only offer software, but there's also a web interface, which is equally straightforward. And we're focusing on restoration rather than really management, because, yeah, if you lose files, you want to get the files back as fast as possible. So it is not a file sharing or collaboration suite. Performance. This is really where Backblaze shows its age and data design philosophy, right? Upload speeds in my testing were a little bit disappointing, taking nearly 17 minutes for our 5 gigabyte test due to, conservative, I would say, multi-threading approaches. However, download speeds were much better at around 7 minutes, suggesting the service prioritizes restoration over initial backup speed. This makes sense for a backup service. You upload once, but might need to restore very quickly in an emergency. Now, on the 1 gigabit per second connection, things didn't really change much. Upload speeds were practically identical, and download speeds improved by, let's say, about a minute or so. Disappointing, but yeah, not really surprising. Security is pretty solid with AES 128-bit encryption and SSL for data transmission. The optional private encryption key upgrade is crucial for maximum security, but it removes web and mobile access obviously to your files, right? Because everything is encrypted locally, and then there's no one who can access your files without your key. Backblaze maintains secure data centers with, according to them, 24/7 monitoring and biometric security, and the service supports two-factor authentication, which is these days almost mandatory. Okay, pricing. And here we go, right? It's still good. It's not nearly as good as the $5 they started with 10 years ago, but well, inflation and whatnot, I mean, you know the drill. It's $9 monthly for $99 annually, or $189 for 2 years. And that's genuinely unlimited storage for one computer with no file size limits or data caps. For users with massive photo libraries, for example, or video collection, this represents incredible value. The catch here, and there is a catch, there is a caveat, I told you so, that's why it's worth it watching these videos, so you are aware of actually what's going on here, and that's why I love for you to leave your subscription on the channel, because that's how I take my motivation. I want to create better videos for you, and you help me with your subscription, supporting the channel, and pump up more of these videos that hopefully help you with your decision on a backup, on a cloud storage service. So thank you very much. Now, I said before, the catch is one computer only. Now, each device requires its own license, which can get expensive for multi-device households or small businesses, right? And obviously you cannot back up with a standard license network-attached storage devices, right? Because with a network-attached storage device, Backblaze couldn't tell how much storage you would add. So you could add 100 petabytes of data and it looks like an external hard drive. That's not how it goes, right? So you cannot do that. Also, if you want to back up external hard drives, they have to be connected at certain intervals. I believe it's 30 days or so, right? So you have to connect them. Backblaze recognizes the external hard drive, and then it continues to be backed up on the computer. Otherwise, the files will be deleted. So you cannot use it as a permanent archival storage if that external hard drive is not connected to the account. So if all you're looking for is easy and reliable online backup, then Backblaze is a really standout choice. All right, and taking the top spot in our ranking is iDrive, a service that somehow manages to be both feature-rich and user-friendly while maintaining competitive pricing over the course of the past 15 years or so. And I tested it a lot, I'm using it a lot, and iDrive impressed me consistently with a combination of backup and storage capabilities, a pretty robust feature set, and yeah, pretty, I would call it reliable workhorse performance, right? iDrive's feature arsenal is comprehensive. The service supports multiple device types, computers, mobile backup services, devices, servers, and even NAS devices, all on one account. Obviously, you do not get unlimited storage with them, right? You have to pay by the gigabyte. You can back up individual files, okay, pretty standard, entire drives, or create full disk images. The scheduling system is remarkably flexible, allowing backup jobs at specific times or even continuous protection. And I'm a big fan of iDrive's hybrid nature. It's equally capable as a backup service and a cloud storage platform, right? With file sharing and web access to backup content. I do think that their strengths, if I had to choose one, is backup and not cloud storage. So I might only want to use it for online backup and then pick another cloud storage service like pCloud as a supplement, maybe go for a lifetime plan there and pick iDrive for your daily backup needs. I think that's a beautiful combo that I would check out if I were you. And it also strikes as an excellent balance between power and accessibility. Yes, the sheer number of options can feel a little bit overwhelming initially, right? And that's what I would criticize on iDrive as well. It offers more configuration options than most users will ever need. So power users really, I think iDrive is really for you. And you can dig into the settings and set everything up, right? The desktop apps for Windows and Mac are full featured, though Linux support is command line only. So you have to hack it a little bit, I would say. It's not for me at this point, but you can really do it if you like. So if there's one gripe I have with iDrive, and here it comes, it's with downloading my data from the cloud storage side of things. I can only download one file at a time. And this may not seem like a big deal, but when I have a project with many files, which I almost always have, I want to pull songs from my music library. Well, it's super frustrating, okay? Performance testing then revealed why iDrive earned the top spot. On the 100 megabits per second connection, upload speeds averaged just over 6 minutes and 40 seconds, while downloads took only around 7 minutes, consistently fast across different file types and sizes. Also, CPU usage remained low during testing except when processing larger files, and the service handled our mixed media tests without the slowdowns that plagued other providers. And when given the full 1 gigabit per second connection to play with, iDrive got even faster, but not as fast as I expected given the stellar results on the slower connection. Here, uploads took exactly 5 minutes, while downloads were a few seconds faster. And given the genuinely impressive speeds in my throttle tests, I expected to see speeds in the 2 to 3 minute range, to be honest. Another area where iDrive, in my book, shines is security. The service offers AES 256-bit encryption with optional client-side encryption, but here's the catch. You must enable private key encryption during account creation. There is no way to add it later, which is both a security strength, but also obviously a security weakness. Also, if you go the client-side route, you lose the ability to share files with other people. The service maintains secure US-based data centers with comprehensive physical security measures and supports two-factor authentication. If you've watched the channel before, you know I'm not the biggest fan of storing data in the US, right? I'm based in Europe. I kind of like to keep my data in Europe for obvious reasons. But most of the risk can be mitigated by enabling client-side encryption during setup. So make sure to do that, well, if security is one of your priorities. iDrive's pricing structure, is a bit complex, to be fair, but generally favorable towards you, the end user. It would take too long to list all the available options here in this video. Go check out the links in the description box below. It sends you to a free trial that you can take, and then later you can upgrade to the plan that interests you the most or that suits your needs, right? But the personal plan starts at 5 terabyte for less than a measly $6 per month when paid annually, and you can scale it up to 100 terabyte. Well, this should be enough even for the video producers amongst you or photographers who store a lot of raw data. The service frequently runs promotions, sometimes offering up to 95% of the first year for customers switching from competitors. And while the pricing can seem complicated with various tiers and options, the per terabyte cost, if you really put it down that way and put it in a sheet and compare the other costs, is really excellent. And you find a comparison sheet of all the prices below. So you can visit cloudwords.net and check everything out there and peruse all the prices at your own leisure. Now, especially if you considering that you can back up unlimited devices per account. If you use the link in the description box below, I said it before, you get the best deal available, which at the time of recording this video is a whopping 75% off the first year. So make sure to check it out. What makes iDrive the winner isn't any single standout feature, is the combination of everything working well together. The service offers enterprise-level features at, consumer prices that I like, that my wallet likes, and that you probably like as well. So reliable performance across many different use cases is a given, right? That's why it's ranked number 1. And the flexibility to function as both backup and active storage is great. Though the caveat is I would recommend it as a backup service first and cloud storage second. Whether you're a home user protecting family memories, right? Or maybe you're a small business securing critical data, iDrive provides the tools and, from my testing, the reliability that you need. Okay, one final consideration as you go through the list and evaluate the services. Don't just think about your current needs, but obviously your future ones too. Your data will grow, and that exponentially. Your backup requirements will evolve, and the service you choose today should be able to adapt. And iDrive's combination of features, performance, pricing makes the most future-proof choice in this lineup, at least for now. The reality is that any backup is better than no backup at all. But like choosing the right service can mean the difference between a minor inconvenience and a major catastrophe when data loss strikes. And believe me, it will strike at one point, especially if you don't have a backup in place. Whether you go with a privacy-focused approach of Internext, which I like, the simplicity of Carbonite, which maybe look elsewhere, or Backblaze, if you want to have it super simple. The lifetime value of pCloud is also great, I mentioned that before, or maybe you need the comprehensive capabilities of iDrive. The important thing is that you act now before it's too late. So, I would love to know, what is your current backup strategy? Have you experienced data loss that could have been prevented with proper backup? Tell us your story and tell us how you improved your setup after you lost your files. Drop your experience in the comments below, and if this comparison helped you in any way make a decision, hit that like button and subscribe for more in-depth tech reviews. And your data is irreplaceable, so make sure it's protected. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.